Winner is not who always sees success. Winner is someone who's full of all the failures, ups and downs, and have been into trenches. They have more failures than successes.
Well, hey, welcome back to the Amanda Kaufman Show. I am so excited that you are here. And I am here with a friend that I met mainly because we have very snazzy glasses. Sahil, welcome to the Amanda Kaufman Show, a fellow coach, a fellow marketer with some unique perspectives to share today. So, welcome.
Thank you so much for Amanda for bringing, and I hope it will be valuable to your audience. And yeah, we got this catchy specs, so I love it. I love your
Exactly. You
red
know
more
you're
than
going to
that.
learn something because if you're watching us on YouTube, it's two people wearing glasses. This is going to be a smart conversation.
Absolutely.
So Sahil, why don't you take like 30 seconds, introduce us to like who are you, as a coach, what is it that you do and how do you help people?
Yeah, so basically, I am helping freelancers and coaches, other business coaches, basically, to help them scale to their first six figures and beyond. So we have, before we met, actually, we had this program called Six Figure Accelerator. And after we met at that event, we got obviously great takeaways and how they were discussing about industries transforming or transitioning into more like when trust recession came. So I reshaped my business a little after that, tweaked it, and now I have a yes, I was doing organic and high ticket coaching. Now I added more of low ticket and now jumping into paid ads as well. Instead of six figure accelerator, it become micro offer accelerator program. That's a new launched program that we did. We launched it just like a week ago, and we got few people into that. So I'm working with them. Two sessions have been delivered to those people. So now it is like entire ecosystem that I've built up. We can dive deep more into the session, but for 30 seconds, yeah, that's what I'm doing, helping freelancers and coaches to scale to six figures and beyond.
Amazing. I love that. And I was thinking about this episode and I'm like, what can my friend tell everybody that maybe they're not hearing somewhere else? So, I just really want to point out, y'all, when we met, he heard this idea from the stage, what, a month and a half ago, 6 weeks ago,
Yeah,
something like that. It was like,
almost.
yeah. And sometimes you just hear something. And how many times have you heard something, but it just went into a journal, went to a journal to die? And I think something I really admire about you is I've seen like just how quickly you took some of the things that we learned in the room and you were like, boom, put it on the internet. Boom, got a new page up. Boom, started a new conversation. So talk to me a little bit about how your philosophy as a coach has changed to now focus on this ecosystem model. So what is that and why? Why'd you do that?
Right, it's a great point. So, what first, like philosophy thing on events, I want to talk about that, touch base on that. Basically, whenever we go to attend any of the events, whether virtual or in person, one of my mentors taught me this thing that you cannot pick everything from any event that you go to. Just pick for one thing that you can get from that and implement that in your business rather than trying to just jot down all the notes and taking pictures and clips and all that stuff. So I think that stuck with me. And any event I go to, whether in person, master classes or challenges or summits that I attend, I always make sure that what is that one thing I can pick from, and then I go like really dial down into that. So for me, the one thing that I picked from that was how a lot of online businesses, or especially info product owners, are shifting. Like there was a wave which was high ticket, high ticket, high ticket. Like I think I personally was in that way from 2020 to 2023-ish end or starting 2024. And then I started seeing some things like, okay, what used to work before are not working as compared to earlier. So at that point I started hearing this noise of like digital products, low tickets, and all. Like there were some posts from like other influencers and other legends out there. They were talking about how industry is shifting from this to this. High ticket is not dying, that's not the case, but middle tier, what I see, anything that you're selling from $3,000 to up to $7,000 to $10,000, that's where it got hit. And a lot of people reshape their business. That's what I was looking for actually before attending that event. So I got my that one thing, and I'm like, okay, how can I tweak it so that I don't become just like I don't end up becoming that victim or ended up closing my business. I've seen a lot of my coaches literally shut down their business for different reasons, and I'm like, no, I want to figure it out. So
Mm.
during that event I got this thing is like where we talked about trust recession, we talked about how you have like awareness offers, entry level offers, and then you have your sweet spot offer, call it as $1,000 whatever. That event organizer Anik talked about it. So that's what those were my gold nuggets that I was like, it's like more of validation, like okay, yes, if I'm hearing this again and again. And that event was just like, for me it was more of kickstart, that let's do this, let's see what happens in that. So I was ready
Totally.
before that, it was just another validation for me. So after that
Yeah.
event I came back home and we looked back into my business, because when you have I'm doing this from last 5 years, you have different things, it's like mini journeys that you have walked yourself in your business. What can you pick from that, and based on how industry is evolving, how you can fit into those buckets. That's what eventually I did. I had sold low tickets, multiple high tickets, super high tickets as well. So I was seeing how can I take lessons and things that I built up earlier and adapt to what's working in 2025.
Yes, I love this.
Yeah.
I was sitting in the same presentations as you, hearing the same things about the trust recession. So, dear listener, if you've not heard of this, maybe earlier in your marketing journey, but like Sahil said, in 2020 there was this massive move online by all industries. I'm not even talking just about coaching. So people who previously were not as exposed to the world of coaching or the online marketing world, suddenly they're bored, they're at home, they got to spend their time. And so it ended up being a bit of a gold rush for coaches everywhere. And I can't think of a business owner that doesn't want to make more money more quickly. So it makes a lot of sense that with all of that opportunity, high ticket everywhere, short sales cycles, higher pressure tactics to get people to make fast decisions. And it was a lot of fast money without a lot of structure. So I remember sitting there in the same presentation as you. And I've been doing this a little longer, like at 8 years. So I had like the pre pandemic context. And it was still such a validating experience for me as well, because I had learned from some of the people who have been in this industry for 20 plus years. And they had told me way back when I started, 2016, 17, hey, you want to have, some people called it a product matrix, some people called it an ascension value ladder, but like the really prolific and long-term people that have been running a strategy, they've all said that you want to have a mix, a product mix. And it was only like in 2020 to 2023, around the same timeline that you were saying, that the rhetoric was always like, just focus on one thing, focus on that,
Yeah.
1 1 1 1 1. And it's like, I get that, but the model, I realized when they said it at the event, as a coach, we're leading people through an ecosystem. We're leading them through levels of commitment, and the people who are ready to move to the next level of commitment will, and the people who aren't ready won't. But there won't be this like crazy resentment that gets caused by always going for, the high ticket, hopeful, fast sale, high pressure kind of situation, right?
Right. That's all right.
Yeah.
That's all exactly what you
Yeah.
experienced, what I've gone through, went through my entire journey. So exactly, that's right on. It's like foundations and basics were like this. Even when you see the value ladder, that's what it was.
Hmm.
But I personally also, like, I remember I was teaching this concept of reverse value ladder, start with high ticket and then go towards bottom, step down and then do that. So the concepts got tweaked. Yes, they got modified based on what you have walked through the journey. You are making your own frameworks, basically. Okay, this is what worked for me. Nothing is wrong or right here. It's just something worked for someone, not for others, right? I remember I had, when you talked about that one offer, I was exactly six figure accelerator was over that core offer, that one offer, nothing less than that. So what happened, I used to do masterclasses and challenges. Those were like $47, $97, and straight then it was $6,000 offer. I saw a big chunk of people that were like, cannot invest $6,000, but is it something for us as well? And that was like a very big chunk of people. And I'm like, nope, that's what I have been taught by my mentor, that one offer, one thing. Yes, I don't have anything else. So keep attending over this sessions, the mini sessions or micro offers. And next thing is you gotta invest high ticket. So a lot of I found it as a lot of leakages, I want to call it as, or a lot of people that slipped through that. uh, I could have served them if I would have maybe something of lower level as well, like $1 to $2,000, what I call it a sweet spot offer. In that, there were a lot of them. I feel something bad as well. A lot of people have quit as well when they see like, okay, we tried it for, some people like paid heavy amount, didn't get results for various reasons, and some like lose the hope even, like, if I cannot invest high ticket, there is nothing for me, nobody is helping me out, kind of that stuff. So a lot
And
of
that's terrible
things.
stuff. Like you
Yeah.
never want to have that conversation or realize that you were that coach, that their heart was broken, But versus like something that's lower ticket, like how many people buy a book, and they never read the book, but they also never feel guilty about it. But also, have you ever read a book that changed your life, right? And it's a similar level of investment book to book. And I think it's the same thing when we start kind of moving down the value ladder from very high ticket, expensive, coaching programs that are extremely high touch. Having options that people can be more casual with before they decide that they're going to commit at that higher level, it really does make a lot of sense. So I'm just so curious, when you went through this launch, and you used to be the six-figure accelerator guys, and then you kind of flipped and shifted to adding more of this ecosystem conversation. I would love to know, if you don't mind sharing with us, what did you learn in that launch that you couldn't have known before you started?
Very good question. There were a lot of things which I learned through that launch. So it's like all the lessons, all the takeaways fits different people into different levels of their journey. If I am a beginner, I would take different takeaways, beginner or advanced. So like the biggest one what I got was when I was selling this, it was like the first product was $7 masterclass, right? I was thinking to keep it 27, 37 and or 7. I decided, okay, let me, because I wanted to do a beta testing. I wanted to do it with more data set. So I was like, front end is not a money making activity even. I want maximum people to taste it, what I'm doing, right? So I kept it at $7. We got almost 52 people something bought that. That was a little, it was good, but then I felt it, okay, even when I was doing it 47 or 27, I was getting same amount of people. But then was a realization that, okay, first of all, these are not the same faces anymore. As I said, a lot of people disappeared. They just left it, they quit it, or whatever happened. They just were not in the game anymore, right? And I was personally seeing all these people, content. I'm like, last content was posted in last year ago. I'm like, wow, okay. I felt bad at some point, and like these people were attending my events and all. For them, it now I'm coming up with something. Maybe it was for them what they were asking a year or 2 years ago from me, right? So that was a big realization. I'm like, okay, faces changed at this point. Although it was that lower level, I was expecting at least to get maybe 100 people minimum. I was expecting, but we got half of that, so not bad. Started with that, we launched that, and then we pitched $1,000 offer. So that was a sweet spot offer that we did 997. In that, I think it was more of, now people were like, there was no hard selling that happened. Earlier, I used to book calls and then close people on $6,000 offer, of course. But for this, it was like event, they got value, they understood the ecosystem. I showed them the entire thing literally. It was like, do it yourself. You want to do it? Do it. Feel free. I gave you enough examples and enough stuff. Or if you want me to do it with me, then done with you coaching program, that was $997 offer, right? So like I was seeing payments coming in. We opened up 10 spots within few days, 10 spots were gone. And I'm like, okay, I want to limit it this time. Earlier we used to take more people as well, like using some scarcity but still enrolling people. But this time I made a decision that I'm not going to do any fake scarcity or urgency. 10 people in, close the doors.
Yeah.
So we
Yeah.
did
I
that.
like that style too. I think it's better
Yeah,
to just tell the truth, state the facts,
exactly.
and but beta, dude, I'm like doing the math. So you had 52
Yeah.
people buy. I have to imagine most of them showed up, but like 80% show up rate
33
potentially.
people were there in the live session. 33, 32, 33. Yeah. So we got, yeah.
Dude, 33 people in the live session, which meant that you had 33 people see the offer. to
Yes.
make then 10 sales, and I know you did a bit of follow up to get the 10.
No, I
That
didn't do. Okay, interesting part. This time, I didn't even send any message to anyone. What I
no
did
direct
was all
messages.
through
Did you
content.
feel follow
No,
up emails?
I did. Yeah, I was gonna come to. I did the content part, the Facebook content part, and the emails part. That's it. Earlier, we used to like, hey, where are you? Did you watch this masterclass? What's your takeaway? You know, all that
Yeah.
scripting stuff, DM scripts. But this time, I was like, I'm not. I don't want to do that. That's what I wanted to take people away from that DM chasing. That was another what you asked me to the lesson as well.
So
But
that
content
means
did the
you
heavy
got,
lifting for me.
I'm like doing the math here and freaking out on your behalf because it's so awesome, right? Because that new faces as well, 30% conversion off of that webinar is outstanding. Congratulations. That's amazing. Like y'all,
Thank
just
you.
for reference, if he had said anything in the range of 10% conversion, I would have said that is amazing. Right? So he did an outstanding job of serving people. And what's so cool is that there was no hassling in the
No,
one-on-one. It was just a highly consensual buy. That's pretty
and
cool.
there is an interesting part that happened that three of the people started conversation for our one-on-one coaching offer, and one of them literally paid 2 days ago. So we got
To
one
join
conversion of.
to join your top tier.
So yes, exactly. So that was like, okay, this person bought $7 masterclass. This person picked, there was an upsell of $97 1 hour session, VIP intensive, I call it as that they bought. They bought a sweet spot offer of $997. And on top of that, they made a decision literally yesterday to buy the one-on-one coaching. So, and three out of them that also converted. Two more are already, they are like, okay, we are arranging money and all that. So I'm not counting them as sales. We'll see. But
I
so
do the
far,
same thing. I'm like verbal close and a close.
yeah, exactly. Until it's paid, it's not closed.
Yeah, yeah. No, but I mean, like, that's still very promising and really exciting. Congratulations. And dear listener, I hope just by by the way, so generous to just share your metrics and everything like that. Cause I think, I know when I was starting out, and I'm sure you've had this experience where you're like, well, this is all hypotheticals. Right.
Yeah.
And not having any kind of numbers to benchmark against can be really challenging. So, thank you so much for your generosity with that. So cool. So at this juncture, knowing what you know now, given your experience, you've been in the game for over 5 years. You said something so good. I want to circle back to that real quick before I ask my next question. And that was this decision to stay in the game and to keep playing and to just like recognize how the game has, maybe it's not even that the game changed because like I said, this whole notion is known of having a product ladder and having a real ecosystem as you call it, but the emphasis in the industry has not been on let's build a stable business model. It's been let's get as much money as quick as we can from as many people as possible, and like that is always going to have an expiry date. So I'm really excited for you for how you're building your stability and all of that. My next question, because you've clearly decided to stay in the game over the long term, is there anything that you would love a fellow entrepreneur to be reminded of today? Like maybe they've heard this before, but like you just know in your bones it's really important for them to hear. What is that?
I think one lesson or one takeaway that people can get from here is there's a thing saying, I'm trying to modify in my words, is like winner is not who always sees success. Winner is someone who's full of all the failures, ups and downs, and have been into trenches, and they have more failures than successes. What I've seen. I remember I was listening to one of the podcasts. I think it was Russell or someone. So they talked about, he said that I don't do one on one business or I don't do a partnership with someone unless they have failed in 5 businesses. I was like, and that I heard like 3 years ago. I was just a year into the business. I'm like, how does it make sense? When you're a beginner, you don't like 5 failure. Why do you want to work with someone who has 5 failures? Later in the journey, then you realize it's not always about that winning moments or that the milestones that you crack. It's always about what lessons that you learned from that, the failures. The more you carry that, now you are more valuable. Now your stuff, your weighted, you know what not to do. So you can literally help. That's a coach I would invest in because they have seen what I might go into, and they would have protect me like, bro, don't go into this way. It will hurt you, or it will not be something that you would be proud of building. So when these things come, they're a part and parcel of the business or life. You gotta just be is like pivoting your way into the way, okay, if this thing had this much, what is that, there is always a time period, or it's like everything has a, the products has expiry date, that things gonna evolve, they're gonna change with time. Now AI is the thing, but if like for my parents, literally they don't know even how to place an order online properly. I have to literally go on a call and do a screen
It's so
share and tell
cute. I
them,
love that.
you know
But
what I
it's a
mean.
great reminder.
Yes. So
Yeah.
they didn't, for them internet is a thing which they're still trying to, they can move along with it. For us it's like AI now, next 5 years it will be different thing. Things gonna evolve, you have to transform, you have to transition, you have to pivot your way to find out how you can stay in the game for longer. And it's the whatever things like marketers also, yeah, we are responsible sometimes showing shiny dreams and all money figures and all that stuff. Yes, I did it a lot in the beginning, to be honest. I was proudly doing it, more of like, okay, if a guy like me who had no experience of business can build something like this, get inspired by that. But that can trigger different things. It's like, I also want to live like this, I also want to make 10k 20k 50k months and all that stuff. So stay away from that, that's not a long term game. Other than that, what I just shared, I think that's helpful. That the more, just take a bag and carry more failures, that will make you more valuable rather than just a
I
winning things.
love that wisdom so much because as you were sharing it, I was thinking, I'm like, gosh, the more you really pull into your heart how valuable failure really can be, it also allows you to be way more valuable to other people. So as a coach, I see so many coaches stuck in perfectionistic loops, denying that they are experiencing perfectionism, denying that that they're challenged in any way because there's so much. I call this personal development awareness guilt. They're so like fixated on I have to be Pollyanna perfect all the time. And then the first day that you fall down and skin your knee, it's like, oh no, count me out. I can't be a coach because I'm not perfect. And it's like,
Right.
it really isn't about that. It's more about, and I love this. Like, I'm seriously taking some notes on, like, I'll have to think about this for future partners. Put it on the
I'm gonna add
application.
one more thing.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
it's like always another thing, what helped me when I had seen bad times in my business, or where the business was not going as expected, that your surroundings and the people who you are already associated with, that matters. Because I remember one day, so it was like 2 years ago, we had this big massive event happened in our program, where it's like I was seeing refunds requests started happening. There was like something happened, scenario happened where one person just tried to mess up with the community and all, and I was like messed up really bad at that point. And to for me to come back to from that situation, people around me, or people who were like my coaches, I literally reached out to my first coach. I called him and texted him first, like I was like, is it possible for you to come on a call with me? I'm like going through a very hard time, I really want to talk to you. It was one in his night, and he's like, he called me right away. He's like, Sahil, everything okay? I'm like, it, I know it's late night for you, but I'm full of something, and I want to just talk to you for, if you can give me 15 minutes. He's like, yeah, that's fine. I like literally post out. I'm like, this what happened, and all that scenario. Not just to one coach. I literally I went to met someone an hour away from me, just because I was all alone and I was not able to share with my family, with my wife, what's going on, and I wanted some expert guidance, people who have already been through. Anytime I was talking to them, not just one, two person, three, four people I talked to, anytime I was talking to them, they are like, we're taking it so casually. It's like, oh, it's the first one. I'm like, what do you mean it's first one?
Your
Bro,
first big failure.
I'm dying. I'm not even able to open up my laptop. This is how bad I am feeling, and you are just saying casually it's first one. Like,
Yeah,
how
but
come
it
it's
helps
so
you
easy?
calibrate, right? Because if
Exactly.
you shared that with your spouse or you shared that with your friends, they don't have any context. So
Exactly.
they don't know what's an appropriate level of reaction, but a real mentor is going to have had that experience.
Yeah, they were so casual about it. They're like, it's the first one. Oh, we saw that in 2014. I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, have you gone through something similar, exact similar? Oh yeah, yeah, we had to issue like 6 figures refund. I was like, okay, mine is not 6 figures, but I'm devastated at this point. I'm not sure how can I recollect myself back. And then I
Totally.
heard their stories. I'm like, okay, my pain is much more smaller, but glad I was able to discuss with them, because now I see how they handled it, what they did in this situation, and it helped me to come out of it faster. Rather than quitting it, it helped me to rebuild myself. So
So
I
good.
cannot be thankful enough to these people who I was. making sure that I'm in touch with these people who were helping me at my worst times of my business.
I
Huge
love that.
kudos. So that
I love
matters
that.
who you are surrounding, because your loved ones, they love you, they're gonna protect you. The best advice they might be like, okay, find something else. But that might not be the solution, ideal solution. You might have worked something, like I took 3 years to build something, and I would not want to listen to that advice. Just try something else. Like I put all my energy, time, blood, sweat into this to build it up. I cannot just let it go.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
it was the hard
exactly.
time, but those people helped.
So, Sahil, what's the best way for people to follow you?
All the social media channels, I'm most active on Facebook and Instagram. It's Sahil Sehgal Official, my first name, last name, and official. We have a website, sahilsegalofficial.com. So if you want to go connect, like all of our Facebook group playing, podcast
We'll make
links,
sure
everything.
to have all your links below.
Yes.
Dear listener, thank you so much for joining us. Make sure you smash that subscribe button if you haven't already, and grab this episode and share it with 3 of your friends who are maybe struggling through, thinking like, "Oh, I got to change things up. You know, how do I navigate these uncertain times as a coach?" This is a great episode to share with them. And hey, if you have 30 seconds to share a review of the podcast, we always appreciate that because it helps people decide whether they want to stop by and listen. So thank you so much for being here, Sahil.
You're welcome. I hope
Yeah,
it
I
was
mean,
valuable.
it was incredible. And dear listener, until next time, do what matters.